Jocelyn is not ASMR. She is more rage some more. Wait, let me tap my nails on it. Against the paper. Tippy tippy tap tap. Welcome back to another podcast where two girls come together to talk about shit that people should take the time to ponder.
We call this the art of conversation, and sometimes we do ASMR. Do-do-do.
No, it's do-do-do, do-do-do.
Wait, let's go to the right first.
Okay.
Ready? Do-do.
Wait, I almost went left for a second.
Okay,
ready?
ready?
1, 2, 3. Do-do-do, do-do-do. I don't even know. Don't ruin my mood. So exhausted from being a person. Can I rest my eyeballs? Sad. It's because we never film in the morning.
Nothing stops us.
What a cute little outfit.
It's my funeral outfit.
Why does Justin always have to make everything so dark? And I actually thought maybe you got up and like got dressed and cute, and then you just were like, no, it's for a funeral.
Because I have a funeral after this,
I don't even
guys.
know
I'm
what
booked
to
and
process.
busy.
Jocelyn, if you're not at my funeral, then that's ridiculous. You're on my will. I'm just kidding.
It's like Jocelyn inherits everything.
Pillow fight.
Okay.
No. Please, I'm already missing half my eyelashes. Jocelyn is not ASMR. She is more rage samar. And I think that's a good wrap.
Okay, this podcast is done.
Okay, so today's topic, we're going to talk about attraction.
Ooh, do you feel pretty today?
No. That's why I'm wearing a shirt that says, do not ruin my mood, because I had no time today to get ready because I don't feel like it.
And being pretty makes you have a better mood.
Sometimes.
Okay, so I'm gonna share a story. A short story.
Here we go again. Jocelyn's famous stories.
You had the stories yesterday.
I don't
We're
remember.
going through with the stories. Okay. So the thing about being pretty is that we're all pretty. Would you say everyone in this world is pretty?
Yeah. Because
I feel as though that was, you were like not being serious. You were like, yeah.
I feel like I'm not trying to like get famous one day and then people watch these back and then they think Alyssa's just this negative Nancy. I don't believe that everyone's pretty because pretty doesn't really show just on the surface, unlike Jocelyn believes.
I just think that
Just kidding.
I just think that beauty is a thing that is more than the conventional way that people talk about being pretty or being beautiful or whatever. I mean, everything's only societally made. Like back in the whatever days, being like super fat was what they wanted women to be. And then they went to where they wanted them to be skinny, and then they wanted to be this.
It's almost like the eyebrow trend.
Eyebrow trends,
You used
right?
to want to be thin, now everybody wants thick eyebrows. Like, who's to say that the thin ones weren't pretty and who's to say that the thick ones
but
are?
it's like you're out.
It's
on
just
the
our
next society.
perception that, well, yeah, the society that's
And
interrupted everyone's perception.
if you think about different cultures, like different cultures think that different things are really beautiful because that's kind of what they know and they've created in their society if you go and travel. So it's kind of interesting then when you get to the point where people are feeling down about themselves, especially in the day and age of social media. People feel down about themselves, they feel insecure,
I also feel like that's because some people take social media so seriously and they use it as a platform to show off than engage.
And then other people who aren't the shower offers are using it as a way to
I mean,
reflect
I don't
on
think
themselves.
it's bad to, like, you know, show off a little bit on social media, but sometimes I feel like people really like to use it to, like, be like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. Like, yeah.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I'm going to share a pet peeve now because I just have to right now.
Aw, you know, I had a pet named Peeve.
You did! I never thought of it like that.
That's why I named him Peeve.
Pet peeve.
Because I had a
pet
chihuahua
animal
and I named him
Peeve.
Peeve.
Yes,
So that
I've
way when
always
I
said,
introduced
is he still
him,
alive?
he looks like a hot dog roll
Where does he live in Ocean
that
City?
has yet to be cut.
Why is it in Ocean City?
Yes.
Oh.
Peeve, well, that's so I could, when I introduced him, I was like, oh, this is my pet, Peeve.
That's pretty cool.
I know, I came up with it with my friend
whole
Reginald.
time I called-
Reggie, if you're seeing this, Reggie's probably watching.
The whole time I called him Peeve, I never put the pet in front of it or ever connected the dots.
That's not my fault.
Because I was thinking it's my dog Peeve. Like, I wasn't thinking pet.
No, you know, he's cute up there. Aw, Peevers.
Pee-pee.
PP, and then we have Jovi. After
And I
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I would love to give a story time to the followers one day about all
About
of my
what?
animal names.
The art of pets.
Yes, the art of pets. Like, I'm like the art of like human pet names. All right, let me list them off super fast. I had Peeve, Jovi, Martin, Milton, Millie, we call her Mildred, Malachi, and Mojo.
Wait, the first name's Millie, and then the nickname is longer than the first name?
Well, Milton's Milton, but like I only call her Millie when she's nice. Sometimes she can be a bitch.
Oh, okay.
So when she's being a bitch, I'm like, Mildred. Okay. She's so annoying.
So my pet names are Jules, Coco, and Rilo. That's all I've ever had.
Great.
I might have had a fish in there.
I had a fish. I named him Hammer.
Yeah, my mom probably killed him.
I had 2 goldfish, and we named them Mary Kate and Ashley.
Of course. Of course. Same.
I love that.
Same. It's like a Tiffany thing.
Mary Kate and what's your rabbit's name?
Oh God, you want to know?
Yeah.
This expresses who Tiffany is.
I had a bunny named Blackberry that I grew up with. And so when I got this current bunny, my dad
still
was
black.
like, he's all black as well. And my dad was like, I'm going to call him Blackberry. And I was like, well, no, like, that's rude. So then my husband was like, well, call him, like, Blackberry 2. And, you know, like, Star Wars BB-8, the character. I don't know if you watch Star Wars, but that's a character. So we call him BB-2. Like, BB-8.
So it's literally
and
just
Blackberry
letters and
2.
numbers.
That's cute.
And people come over and they're like, wait, it's really...
I mean, if you actually think about it,
Yes.
all humans are actually just numbers.
No letters.
No, we all have a social security number, and I believe that's just our number.
Well,
Our
only in the
names,
US.
our names are just for fun.
The social security things are just in the U.S. Is that crazy?
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah. But don't worry, I have mine now, so...
I don't even know where my
Culture.
card is. I just know the number.
If someone steals the card, they could identify as you. Okay, anyway, here's my beauty story, and I'm gonna need you to psychoanalyze it.
Okay.
Psychoanalyze it. Also, we're filming in the morning today for the first time ever, so if we're a little different, it's because that's how we wake up.
If you prefer the morning, let me know. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. We're not doing that.
It's like 4 a.m. That's why it's like, you're a little tired, right? You brought pillows.
That's why Jocelyn's dressed in her funeral gear at 4 a.m.
The funeral's around 6. Okay, rest in peace, Tom. So, my story is circling around the head.
It's the train.
We need to get a train prop, I think. My story is the fact that
The fact.
one time, okay, this is a very simple story.
Jocelyn takes longer to get her stories out when she's trying to think of them. She's like, I think that, but in the back of her head, she's trying to like line up all the words.
And then I'm like, is that the true story or should it be
And
the
I'm
story?
over here just like,
Okay. Like, Alyssa says a story and forgets it halfway through. So, we edit this out, but you guys don't know that half the time she's like, my ADHD, I just forgot the thought. And then she brings the tank train on. Okay, anyway.
Jocelyn's story is.
One time, I was like 15 or 16 and I was in Mexico. This is how it starts.
Okay.
And at this period of time, I had my first boyfriend. Well, I didn't have him anymore because we broke up. And then I went to Mexico.
While you were in Mexico or before?
Before Mexico. You know, like, I've always been the person, if I'm dealing with something, I leave a job, I break up with someone, I just go
She
travel.
just like, oh, okay.
I'm out this
I thought
bitch.
you meant like just cut people out of your life.
Cut the thing and then travel.
Yeah.
Snip, snip.
Snip, sip, cheerio.
Because in my head, I'm like, new country, new bitch, okay? So, old problems. So,
She's not one of those hair girls. Just changes their hair to red
No.
and they suddenly have.
no, I'm more like, I'll just change my whole location and existence.
I love that.
And personality and purpose.
Be like Jocelyn.
Anyway, so we had broken up. So mind you, you know how it is. Your first breakup, you know how it is. And
I love how you just always have to be like, you know how it is. Like, thank you. I'm aware.
know how it is. How
You
it
know
is.
what it is. You
Okay. So I'm in Mexico, not really living it up because I was kind of really sad about that. Her clients were texting her.
No.
Oh.
It's my nail girl.
Oh. So anyway, I was like down and out about myself because you know your first breakup. I'm not gonna out this person, but you know, like you start immediately reflecting on yourself. So before this, I mean, you knew me. I was pretty confident, I would say. Maybe cocky could be a better word to describe it. But then this happened and I'm like, well, if he doesn't want to be with me, which I think it was a mutual breakup, but like I only broke up with him because he didn't want to, he was acting weird towards me. So still, same thing. So then I was like in Mexico and I was like, wow, I'm just an ugly ass, stupid ass bitch. And throughout the entirety of the trip, as I got darker and darker in the sun, I just continuously...
Slowly as her tan gradually changed.
I was still living it up in the tan world, but like I was just sitting there really down about it myself. So then, this is such a simple interaction, but for some reason, that was when I was 15 or 16. I remember it to this day, and it changed everything. And this thought comes back to me every single time I'm ever down about myself. And I was maybe buying like little like anklets or wristlets or something, you know, at the little shops. And this mom came up with her daughter. And this mom was a badass bitch mom. It wasn't like, oh, like, mom. No, this mom, she had the fake titties, fake butt, blonde, platinum blonde hair. My hair was orange because I was trying to dye it blonde myself. And so she was like who I wanted to be. And she comes up to me out of nowhere and she's like, do you speak English? And I was like, yes, yo habla inglés. And then she was like, I just need you to know that you are so beautiful and I don't want you to ever forget that. That's all she said. And then the daughter was like embarrassed and was like, Mom, please stop. And then
This
they
is
like,
like
laughed.
some like medium.
I don't know, medium that had to look inward to find my beauty.
Are you asking me?
I think that's rude. She should be able to see with her own 2 eyes.
Well, that's why she came up to you and she said it. She said she just doesn't want you to forget that.
Okay, here's the thing.
She obviously could feel that there was something
She felt
internally.
my internal battles. But automatically, like with one word, all of a sudden, the rest of the trip, when I tell you, I was the most baddest bitch. Like, I looked in the mirror, I looked different, I looked better. I was beautiful now. And every single time, I'm like 22, I'm basically 27 now, and every single time I'm ever down, for some reason, that most random thought that probably was so
I guess
insignificant
that's
to
cute.
her.
That goes to show that, like, what
It's an
you
energy
say,
thing.
Well, what you say to people, energy transfers. I say this
Yeah.
multiple times in our podcast. If
Yeah.
anybody's ever listened.
So transfer some to me.
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, I'm extremely tired. So,
So I need to give you some.
Here, charge me. It's like you just plugged in.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's my story, and that's where this whole attraction thing came.
I wasn't saying that energy. I was just saying that that just goes to show that like what you say to people matters. Like it just reminded me when you were saying that how I was going through like a really bad time one time, and I was going through the toll, and somebody had paid for my toll like before I got there, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so cute. And then on my way back, it was the same lady that I went through, and then she stopped me, and she was like, basically had this like super quick conversation about how her husband had died, and she's like,
through the toll.
in this weird like part of her life, and she, I just want you to know how little things matter right now, and how you should really just like take a step back. And I don't know, she said something along the lines of taking a step back and really like taking it in.
It's kind of what you needed.
And
at
she
that
was just
time.
like giving me compliments of just like myself and stuff. I don't know what she really said. I can't really remember, but I do know that it like I felt like I knew I needed that, and I never saw her again after that. Actually, I think Toll stopped taking cash.
Also, it's
So
like
this was around the time where Toll still.
when you're saying it to the people saying those things, they probably don't even remember this. Like
Right.
it's so insignificant, but you remember it. But the same can go the other way. Like let's say you're really insecure about your upper lip, and then I tell you like your upper lip.
So what
stinks.
is your platform here? Are you saying that you're the attraction?
I'm just saying it's not about. I think at my age I've come to growing up, especially with social media, you think it's like you have to, like the Kardashian phase, which I love Kim, okay? But like that whole phase was the first time, not the first time, but you know how everyone had to look a certain way? And all of Hollywood started to look a certain way, the same nose, you got the lip filler, the same shape of face because they put the fillers in there, the BBLs, whatever. And as a society, you start thinking like this is how you look to be pretty. Like if you look not like that, you're not pretty. And there's deeper problems with that with different races and stuff where it's like we kind of society kind of like puts on a pedestal certain types of people. But it's not, as the older I get, I've realized, like, do you ever just see someone in public that maybe aren't the societal convention of pretty and something about them, they just have some aura and you're just like,
Yes.
you're just like beautiful in a way, and I don't know why.
Okay, the other day, well, this is not true because she actually was kind of pretty.
It's not that
But
they're
I'm
not,
saying
but
that like it's not
like
like
a unique feature maybe or something.
I don't know, but we were in Target the other day, and one of Nick's girlfriends, like came up to us, and I'd never met her before.
Yeah.
But automatically, like without even having to look at her, just like by the way she talked and like the way she like delivered
Yeah.
like conversation, you could just tell that she's such just like a pretty person. And I feel like I don't know. I guess I'm just looking at attraction a little bit different than you are when it comes to like my story. So
Yeah.
I think that's like our
But would you
conversation
agree
because I feel like
that-
you.
Would you
What?
agree that it's not then, like the older you get, it's not about the literal, like where your eyes are placed on your face, what your body looks like, but it's kind of this all-encompassing kind of energy field. I mean, everything about you is
Yeah.
energy, so even
Yeah.
your physical looks.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go to far, I mean, I'm not a very spiritual person, but I've heard on TikTok, like those spiritual people literally say you can quite literally change almost the way you look through a different energy and mindset.
I mean, it's true.
I believe it's true.
I mean, well, I guess. See, maybe I am. Okay, well, let me.
But let's
tell my
share your story.
Okay, so I actually was.
Because you're in the beauty industry, so it's interesting.
It is interesting because I hear a lot about. I think this is something that should be a reel, by the way, just because I feel like
Jocelyn?
a lesson and something I've learned was I used to be a person that took everything I wore very seriously. trying to keep up with the trends and things like that. I have my hands on like so many different women a day. We have so many different interactions, and just like sometimes hearing about the things that my clients care about makes me question like just where they're at in their journey. Do you know what I'm saying? And like I always like
their awareness and mindfulness.
Yeah, and like I'm just not worried about those things anymore.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like what makes me pretty.
Give an example without outing like specific people.
I don't know. Maybe just like some of the things they come in and like complain about. And just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like things like they talk about are just necessary. I don't know.
You're like upset that that's what's really.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything too much because I'm not like judging them on it. It's just like it reminds me of the person I was before I ran a business and the things that I used to think were so serious and like what life revolved around and like how I interpreted myself. And then I feel like now that I do things for women and like do their eyebrows and I'm making them look pretty, I'm like, I never do that to myself, but I realize I actually just feel pretty because I'm like happy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So if I said like what makes you beautiful, what would your answer be?
I would say my I don't think that I'm not going to say that I'm a people pleaser, but I do feel like I always want to make sure that like I think I am, I guess, in a way, but I also don't think that's like a bad thing because I just feel like I just have a kind heart and I feel like I can honestly get along with anybody, and I don't really have, if I don't like you, I'm just not going to put myself around you.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like I'm just, the thing that's pretty about me is I'm true to who I am.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree with that.
And I'm like open about it. I used to like always put myself in positions where like if I didn't like a certain person, like I would just like kind of still put myself around them, that I have to like be fake, and that makes me feel like ugly because I know that I'm lying about it.
Yeah.
Now I just sit alone in my room and
and cry. No. So I have an interesting question.
But I didn't get to tell my story.
I thought that was your story.
No, it wasn't.
Then share your story.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have a question for you.
Okay, but this just doesn't have to do with like what we were kind of talking about. I was just gonna say that when I was in esthetician school, we actually, just because this is the art of conversation and I wanted to kind of change it a little bit. When I was in school, I never really was very spiritual or anything like that. When I say spiritual, I mean like like healing and chakras and just like learning a lot about just energy. And my teacher actually at the time, she played this, like, I think it's called The Law of Attraction. I'm sure it's, like, on Netflix, I believe. And she put the DVD in as if, like, this is something, my school was very old school at the time. And we all had watched it, and it was almost like that movie changed everything. Not just for me, but everybody in the class. And we were all just experiencing very weird, like, things. And, I don't know, something about watching that just made me realize that what you really put out, like, everything that already exists is already here. You know, just like you were saying how money, like, always is around us all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you really do. Right, exactly. But people think that that's, like, a myth.
But because they think that, they actually push it further away.
Yeah.
Like, if you see...
And it's not always... I think that's because everybody's first thought is money.
Yeah.
Money. And it's just so sad because, like, money is
great. But then you're thinking of it as a scarcity mindset that way. Because it's money. I need money. I don't have money is what the secondary thought is.
Yeah.
Versus if you're like, money's all around me. I'm so open to it. It'll come when I need it. Yeah. It just starts flowing in. Obviously, that sounds like crazy to say. But if you think that sounds crazy to say, it's because you have the prior mindset.
And I'm not going to say... Well, I'm not going to say that I'm, not happy with the funds that I have or whatever. But I can say that I used to be in all different parts of my life where I was... I moved out into an apartment. I was just making, like, my rent. And then I, like, bought a house, and then COVID had happened, and I basically lost all my savings that I had, like, saved. And then, so I was at a point where I was, like, having a life, and then basically had no fucking money. And then I started running a business, and then, like, I actually started being able to make an income for myself. And now I'm at a point where, obviously, yes, I still, like, check price tags on things, but I feel like I'm not the type of person where I'm actually calculating everything that I spend because I have it like that right now. But you don't realize how something like that can be so quickly taken from you. Yeah. And it makes me realize that money just really isn't everything. Yeah. It is, but...
It's just another energy.
It's almost like the more... I mean, if you're not handling it correctly or... You know what I mean? Or have the mindset that, like, some people I feel like they're just, like, rich and they're just, like, they don't care. Like, It's just is what it is. But I feel like having too much money can be bad. I feel like having not enough can also, I guess, be bad. But I feel like all the different levels of it can teach you something so different.
But if you think you have too much or not enough, then you're seeing it still as a scarcity thing. You're still seeing it as something that you either don't have or have. Meanwhile, it's something it's an energy that's there, that's always available. It's the same way as love. It's the same way as...
I mean, I guess money is really an energy transfer in itself because you are, like, whatever. I don't know. I guess what I'm just saying is that I feel like
The law of attraction.
In life, the
there.
things that humans want or the world wants us to care about is like beauty standards, the amount of money and items you can occur, and where you hold yourself
Your
and like a
status.
social status.
Yeah.
And I just think that's ridiculous.
Because that's the least of their problems. But
Because,
why do you
like-
think they're trying to make you... Why do you think society's built up with a situation where they want you to think that that's what's prioritized? Is it to take you away from the true, like...
Because
what
I
you're
feel
really
like
here to
if you
do?
can actually sit with
Distractions.
yourself and really see how not serious everything is, then like what are we in a rush for? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Why are we like so I don't know. Like I feel like it's almost like a money ploy for them
Yeah.
in a way.
It's
You know
also
what I mean? Like it's just
mind-blowing to
selfish of
me.
like society and the government to like ask that of us.
I think that... Remember how we talked about in episode 1 that the more distractions they can give us, the further they can keep us away from ever really realizing maybe
Right.
the full potential or truth or gaining that power, right? But the funniest thing to me, and I had this realization the other day, is like, let's say like someone's like, you're too skinny, or you're too fat, or you're ugly, or you're broke, or you're not like famous. Like the most funny thing is all of these things you have the power and choice to change, right? Like if you said like, you're too skinny, I can it's only because I'm choosing to be that, right? If you say you're too fat, it's only because I'm choosing to be that. I know how I can do the reverse. If you're saying you're ugly because your lips are too small, I can go get filler. Like you can change literally everything about yourself. If you are saying
Which
you're
isn't
broke,
a bad thing.
it's not a bad thing, but I'm saying like
Right.
it's funny how it's again a scarcity mindset. It's like you have to be confident in who you are because I can literally change every single thing about myself. If I want to be the most Kim Kardashian pretty rich woman, I can do that if I put my mind to it, right? And like meanwhile, people might share those words with you and you get so upset about it. But when you take the power back and switch it and it's like all these things I get to control about myself. So whatever I am now is because I'm choosing that this is what I want to be. This is how I want to look. So I don't really give a fuck what you say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is who I am. The more you enhance and take in your natural elements, your natural features, and I'm not saying natural like the ones you're born with. I'm just saying who you really feel, like what your real vibe is, what you want to look like. If you want to like change everything about yourself because you feel like that's your vibe, I think that's fine. Do whatever the fuck you want. If you want to enhance who you are, do whatever the fuck you want. But like whatever that is, the more you just own and tune into what it is you want to be and how you want to act and how you want to look, the more beautiful you are. And it comes from that feeling, that energy of confidence. And like, people just sense that. Like, they're not going to tell you about yourself.
But I
because
also
they
feel
know
like,
that-
remember how I was telling you, like, how you can kind of tell when people are, like, some people are, like, old souls and some people are, like, new souls.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people that, like, are kind of, like, new souls, they're very, like, surface level. So I do feel like the things that
Yeah.
they care about are very, like,
they
surface.
can't see the deeper perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, it's just interesting that some people, I don't know, don't have the ability to see that, like, these things just don't really matter. I mean, life
Yeah.
goes by so quickly, and, like, you know, when you're 80 and wrinkly, like, who gives a shit? Like, if your hair
You
was
can
a
go get
little bit
Botox.
thinner when you were
You
younger.
can get extensions. Like, it just doesn't...
Alright, I'm gonna read a
Yeah,
question from our Convo Bowl. It probably was so loud.
I know. Okay. First
It's like
question.
opening a fortune cookie.
Conversation was so good, we didn't even need a question early on.
I know.
What's this?
I want a sip of that.
Lipstick on it. It's not that good. I don't
not,
like
like,
sugar.
sweet.
Yeah, I don't like the sweet.
How can the law of attraction be used to cultivate inner beauty and confidence? Okay, well, we're gonna not answer this one because
'Cause we
we
just
just
answered
kind of
it.
like did that.
I'm ready to get to you.
So I didn't get to answer it.
You're answering my question. Beauty is subjective. How can the law of attraction help us challenge societal beauty standards and embrace our unique features?
Okay, this is ridiculous.
We answered that.
Now suddenly I get to. It's because the universe just knew who wanted to ask the question. Can first, come on.
What? What to say? What?
Can focusing on appreciating beauty in others positively impact our own self-perception?
Can it?
I don't understand. Break
Like,
it
if
down.
you-
There's like too many words.
If you, like, let's say you walk around town and you just see the beauty in everyone else. Hey, and you let the girl know, I love your eyes, I love your asshole, I love whatever. Do you think that actually makes you more beautiful because that's what you're putting out to other people?
I just learned about this actually in therapy.
let's
This
talk
is
about
good.
it.
No, this is good. She was
you.
saying that when you give other people compliments, it has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you.
Explain.
I don't know.
I know exactly what that means.
No, but she was just saying, because I tell her how, like, well, actually, I'm not going to talk about what I talk about, right?
But then it goes the other way too. Like, if you're shaming other people,
It doesn't mean that you can't give a good compliment, but at the end of the day, like, what happens when I'm like, oh, like, I really like your outfit. you know what I mean? You're going to be like, oh my God, thank you. You know what I mean? It almost makes me feel good that I gave you a compliment.
Yeah.
But some people are so in tune with themselves that they genuinely, you just know when somebody gives you a compliment because they actually mean it. And when it's actually something that just, they want that energy returned from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it makes them feel better.
So does
Like when I saw you, let's say when you like got just, I was like, wow, like your outfit's actually really cute. That's like a natural whatever.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
really
need
felt it.
anything from that. But it's almost like, because like let's say like if I was like, oh Jocelyn, like I love your hair.
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh thanks. And you didn't give me the reaction I wanted, then I'd take that a certain way. But if I genuinely meant it, it
It
shouldn't
wouldn't matter.
really.
Yeah. Well, do you think it's the other way? Like, especially with social media, you know, everyone's a hater nowadays. But it's like, do you think, you know when people say, like, hurt people,
haterade.
hurt people, hurt people?
Hurt.
I think it's the
hurt
same
people.
way. Because if you're really not...
Heal people.
Exactly.
That's cool.
So, but it's the same thing.
I
So
like that.
if someone says something rude about you or tells you, like, do you know what I mean? Like, if someone's a bully or they're saying something rude about you, you're letting those words get to you, but in reality...
I wish.
It's all coming from
What was I
them.
gonna say? I wish a bitch would.
I wish a bitch would. They will, trust me. The more social media videos we put out, we'll get some.
I really wish a bitch
But do you
would.
agree with that?
What?
Like, if you said something rude to me, instead of me internalizing that, it really has more to do with you. Like, you're
Yeah.
saying that because of something within you.
Yeah.
It's a mindset thing, pal.
I mean, I give people compliments all the time, but I genuinely actually.
Yeah. That's because you're from a healed place. If I hated everything about myself, the only thing I can do is say rude things to other people. I don't have energy within me that's loving
You ever
and
had a friend in your life that has kind of like picked apart a lot of things that you've done, but tried to come off like nice about it? Like they're like trying to help
Yeah.
you.
No, I've actually had multiple friends like that in my
Same.
whole life. And I don't really understand what it is. But it's like they'll give you a
Ooh.
compliment with a backhanded thing. Is it my turn to read, bitch? I'm
She
answering
just
this one.
called me a bitch.
Okay. What to do when you aren't feeling beautiful?
I think when
Book an appointment.
book appointment
No.
with me, we'll just recharge you. No, honestly, I feel like when
It's our last
because I mean,
question.
everybody at the end of the day, everybody feels sometimes just a little bit insecure. Not even insecure, but you know, you can get down on yourself and like whatever. I feel like the things that make you feel good about yourself is maybe just like cleansing.
What do you mean? How do you cleanse?
I would say like deep cleaning things that are, you know, I feel like your environment has a lot to do with just how you view yourself and others. So I feel like, you know, cleansing, you know, maybe like your house or your room or doing like
Shower.
laundry, shower, and like, I mean, I don't know, some people aren't really into this and this, that, and the other, but I have like my own tarot cards and stuff. And like, I don't know, sometimes I just feel like,
Yeah.
you know, sitting with yourself for a little while because it probably isn't going to last. I feel like not all feelings do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a train.
Yeah.
It's just like one feeling is one, what is it? Caboose. What is it called?
Caboose. No.
Caboose?
No.
Is it a caboose?
That's like the ending
The
of the person
end of the
in the line.
train.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. All the little that are
My
connected.
answer would be, I feel like if I'm ever, you know when you just get ready, you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling myself today. I think to me, it's one, identifying why I'm feeling that way, like realize, you know what I mean? But then
Put on
two,
makeup.
surrounding, no, but like you can do your makeup, still be like, wow, I'm just not living how
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
dude.
But I think it's
totally
like
feel
surrounding myself with the energy of people that make me feel that way. Because all of a sudden, like 2 hours later in the day, I might be sitting at a table with friends and I'm like, wait a second, like I'm looking in the mirror, suddenly I feel myself again. So I think it's where I put the environment I put myself in, the people are part
Maybe
of
like
that
what
too.
situations are going on in your
Yeah.
life, and I feel like just
And taking
doing
care of yourself.
and doing something for yourself.
Exactly.
too, you know what I mean?
Vulnerable question time. Who's going first?
Jocelyn's gonna go first because she doesn't know the question she ever wants to ask.
Okay. Rude. All right, this was like, I felt like a very serious episode, but I really liked this episode. I'm glad she put her burp into ASMR. My vulnerable question to you is, how did you portray your physical self and beauty throughout your life, if you're being very honest?
Can you break it down in like a dumber version for me?
I don't know. Like, how did you
Sorry,
really
I'm
portray yourself? Were you always your whole life walking around being like, yeah, I'm so confident?
Oh my god,
pretty?
no.
So
I
what
don't
were your
know.
true perceptions of yourself if someone asked you at that time?
Like as a child and a
Yeah.
teenager, I always felt I just always felt different. I don't know. I just didn't feel the greatest ever about myself. I don't know. Because I was shorter than other people and everybody always had to point that out, which
First
is just
time.
like annoying because it's almost like somebody always walking around like, oh my god, Jocelyn, you're so tall.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, and what is that? Like, what the fuck
No,
does
it's
that
the only
mean?
thing
That's
I
literally
know.
like somebody, or like, oh my god, like what size shoe do you wear? And I always wonder too, like, why do you want big feet?
Yeah.
Like, who the
What's
fuck
wrong with
would
my feet?
big feet? Like, weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like I always have felt very like, yeah, that or like fat. I had braces and stuff. My teeth were like a whole journey, and that in itself just was like not, you know, the best or maybe the most confident.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, I don't know.
So you never looked in the mirror and were like, I'm so pretty.
Sometimes I would. When I was like a kid, before I started going to like school,
Yeah.
I felt like I was like the cutest little kid ever, and like I just was
Yeah.
so pretty. And then as I feel like I was like introduced to like school and people, I guess that's when I really started picking myself apart, because that's what the world does to you. They just suck you up and they just spit you right out.
On the fucking floor.
Literally.
Step on
And then you just have to pick it up and try to just like dry off that piece. And
Yeah.
yeah. But
What's your question for me?
when's the time that you haven't felt beautiful?
I think when I was in a relationship for 5 years.
Okay, second part to my question.
What?
What was the time that you have had like a law of attraction like happen to you, where you've like simply attracted something that's actually come to you
In the beauty realm or just in any realm?
in any realm?
Hmm.
Like when has the law of attraction actually worked in your favor and you realize that that's like
I think I do it with every single thing in my life. I'm not kidding.
yes,
At least
I
now.
agree.
But I just feel like the way my brain thinks is I think to myself, what do I want to do? And then I create the plan to do it. And I'm like, I'm open to it. And then it just happens. And there's just a knowingness that it's
Yeah.
going to happen versus being like, is it
I
going to
kind of
happen?
feel like the
Is it gonna happen?
podcast would be a good example too of that,
Yeah.
because I feel like that's something that we've literally manifested, and here we
Well, the podcast at first, it was like,
actually candle
it was
company.
even before my dad had cancer. I mean, this was a while ago. We were thought of the name Indulge, our first name. And then we were like,
19.
young. We were in like Ocean City. Like, I don't know what we were doing, but we thought we were gonna have like candles, like healing candles. I don't know why we thought that, but it was needed. But
Okay, but we
we were just kept opening it
we
up
like
to the
molecularly
idea.
like wrote it down and like broke down like all the
On a
numbers
poster board,
and like
bro.
the wicks that we needed and the sizes.
Yeah, and we never bought any of it
No.
because I think we knew it wasn't the full idea. But once we put that out there, we were just open to whatever this idea could be. Even this 2-year break we took, I think the law of attraction was a bit there because the whole time we were just open to, we were still attracting in and open to what that energy could be. We
But
were just
also
waiting
too,
for
that
the
2
answer.
years has really, I feel like, just taught us so much about ourselves and how it all actually really works. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. And our viewpoint's a little bit more stuck in stone, and even like the little signs, like I remember our whole podcast equipment at first, remember my dad
he
bought it
He bought these microphones.
before he died to do like a cancer podcast with me.
Yeah.
And then that obviously never happened.
But I was the one who brought the podcast up
Exactly,
to you.
I never
and
even
you
thought
never
of
even
it.
told me about that.
But then it was like a
Which
month
is
after he died,
weird.
you brought that up, which it was like, whoa, that's so funny that he bought the equipment. So
So it was like he low-key like put it in our path and you just attracted
Yeah.
it, and then I just like
it just everything's just meant to be and happens for a reason. But I think I just live my life. The law of attraction to me goes hand in hand with manifestation, which even if you're not spiritual and don't believe in it, every single thing you do is manifesting. You saying I'm going to work every day is manifesting money coming back to you. Everything you do expects
that's
an output.
a good analogy.
And it's just like you can see it in a very worldly
It's just
business
hard to
model.
see it when you're in a bad position, because somebody that's in a bad position could see this and be like, oh, so what? I just am supposed to like ask for what I want and it's just gonna come.
No, but
And it's like,
you're
well,
in
with
that
that
position,
energy, you're no.
manifesting the wrong things, right? Like if you're in,
Actually, what did the back of my shirt say? Follow worthy things, which literally means follow worthy things,
Yeah.
and it'll come back around.
your
full
mindset
circle
and what
to
you're
you.
choosing is what you get back.
Agreed.
And that goes into beauty. So this podcast episode is done.
That's awesome. Thanks for ending that in such a
You have
weird.
anything to say?
This podcast is done. That's what Justin said.
Is that it?
No, I think that's a good wrap.
Okay, this podcast is done.
Okay, I don't like that. Let's restart. Just be like,
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Submit your questions and make sure you follow us on all our social media so you know what the next episodes are going to be so you can submit questions related to those episodes. Love you. Bye.
what Justin said. Bye.